Hi, Clarissa Mosley, Calm Mind Psychology, and today we're going to talk about dating and specifically online dating. Let's start with why are you online dating? What are you looking for? Do you actually know? It's interesting that a lot of people go online dating and they don't actually know what they're looking for in terms of a relationship and what kind of person they're looking for in terms of someone that they want to have that particular kind of relationship with. These days we've got a plethora of options, even in terms of kinds of relationships. There are people that are looking for short-term hookups all the way to life partners and everything in between. A long-term relationship, a short-term relationship, friends with benefits, a situationship, one-night stand, three-night stand, a polyamorous relationship, an ethical non-monogamous relationship, friends. And so even for people to decide what they put in the little box that says what kind of thing are you looking for is difficult in the beginning because a lot of people don't actually know. They might think they want a long-term relationship, but they don't want a long-term relationship right now. They want to start off being friends. And what does that look like? Or is it that they just want a friends with benefits and they want to pretend that they want a relationship? And so asking yourself that initial question, what am I looking for and what am I ready for in my life? A lot of people, as I've mentioned, would think that they were ready for a partner, but what does that look like? What is that partner? What have you got to offer right now? Like, what space are you in your life right now where you know that you're actually ready to engage on that? Do you even have enough time in your life to actually have a relationship? So question number one would be, what kind of relationship are you looking for and what kind of person are you looking to have that relationship with? So let's imagine you've worked out, you've soul searched and you've discovered within yourself exactly what you would have space in your life to offer someone in terms of a relationship. Do you really know what kind of real human you may be looking for? I want to be honest with you. And that is that we all create idealized images in our heads. We all create fantasy people. And it's not that we are particularly that disconnected from reality. I know that you know that perfection is abstract, right? You are not perfect, and therefore you don't actually expect to meet anyone who's perfect, do you? However, the actuality is that within your mind and your ideas, and therefore your ideal ideas, you've got a sort of diffuse floating image of what that ideal person feels like. I think a lot of people go out looking for somebody that's going to bowl them over. And honestly, we're being conditioned by enough movies, fairy tales, to have it conditioned within us that there is actually this thing called love at first sight, or that we will actually find this amazing person that's going to give us all of these fantastic feelings and that everything is going to be fine and easy. And as much as we might say, well, intellectually and truthfully, I know that's not real, I know I couldn't expect that, I bet you that you quietly hope that that is actually true. That you can actually meet a person who's going to blow you away the moment you see them and they see you, and everything's just going to be this feel-good romance and wonder and excitement and passion and endless conversations about things that you love to talk about, and there'll be no struggles or arguments, even though you know this isn't true, you hope it is. And so why don't you challenge your own fantasies? And what's that morning breath like? Like, what is the actual reality of a real life human compared to your fantasy of them? A good way to challenge yourself to actually think of the person that you're looking for online in terms of a real person is to go back over your previous relationships and really get in contact with the actual day-to-day reality of that human. They fart. They leave stuff lying around. That's annoying. I mean, people are annoying, right? It's not saying they're bad. It's just real people with real breath and teeth and hair and skin and needs and wants and preferences and quirks and ideas and obstinances are difficult. But we are continually flooded with images of idealized perfection, and we love it. We love it. We love to dream. We love to fantasize. In fact, most people in relationships are actually dreaming of how great that relationship is going to be in the future. Yeah, they are. They leverage the relationship forward into the future. So many times they're not really even in contact with what's going wrong in the present. They just hope within their heart and their mind that the other will change into the person that they either dated originally or hope that this person would become in the future. So let's say you've worked out what kind of relationship you truly want, or at least want to aim for, and that you've got in contact with the reality of what kind of human you might actually want to have that relationship with. Now you get to the online dating platform and the paradox of choice. Paradox of choice is where we have so many choices that we end up getting overwhelmed and often end up choosing nothing. You go looking in the shop for the perfect outfit to wear. You get to the shops and there is so many options. You try this one on, that one's kind of nice, that one's pretty good too. Then there's that one. You may end up leaving the store without buying anything, or when you do make a purchase, you have regret that you didn't get the other one. There's always something else that we could have chosen. And this is absolutely the case with online dating. We know that there is a smorgasbord of options available to us. Like, we have got so many things that we can choose from, and so many examples and images of these things. Plus our idealized image in our head. And so it's not unusual that people get stuck in the choice paradox. They might have a date with this one. It just doesn't have that je ne sais quoi, that fireworks feeling, that this is the one that I subconsciously want, even though I know I'm looking for perfection, but I'm going to hang in there until I feel it. I've heard of a lot of times where people will be going home from their date, scrolling still through the app, looking for the next one. It can become just as addictive as any other addiction. So you've got to really watch yourself. Are you getting stuck in this carousel of choosing and choosing and choosing and never making a decision? Or are you actually really staying present with the person that you're with, giving them a fair chance and reality testing, like what exactly you want and how long you're prepared to wait for this perfect person to show up? So early stage dating, you do have to make a choice about someone that, if you do want a relationship, that you might stay and try out and see if they're actually someone that you can do a relationship with. Now, the problem here is that you have made a choice, and that choice is going to preclude other choices. And that's hard these days. It truly is. You could have missed out on something better. Always the case. You know, when we're choosing something, if we are focusing on the regret of the one that we didn't get or choose or could have been better or maybe didn't do that thing that the other one did that we don't like, we are never going to make the relationship that with the person that we're with work, because we're not actually invested in the present moment. We're invested in an alternative reality that's in the past or in an alternate universe, effectively. You could actually get addicted to that. You know, it's a way of actually not making decisions, because if you've got an issue with commitment particularly, you can be with a person and find fault with them and discard them and then go back to the drawing board over and over and over again. And it might sound really reasonable that you don't want to waste time, but you've got to look at the consequence, because you cannot see anything without time. So yes, you've got to choose right, and you've got to make sure, are you being too ruthless or too reckless? So what I've just described, by not seeing something through for long enough, and however long that is, I cannot tell you. It would depend on how many dates you'd had, how well you knew the person, and what you were prepared to talk about in terms of what kind of relationship you want and what you're prepared to risk in terms of understanding if you're actually truly compatible. And so you can get too ruthless in saying, right, they've done that one thing, I don't like that, that's a deal breaker. Is it? Do you know what your deal breakers are? Are they able to be seen in the early stages? Are you one of these people that's got the ick? See my video on the ick. That is a way of actually initiating an out for you. It's like, oh, they did this thing and I just don't feel the same anymore. It's like, really? Was it that easy? Do you like let go of your job that quickly? Do you decide you're not going to follow something through that easily? Really sort of question yourself. So you can get too ruthless and too perfectionist or too exclusionary of people. People are people, they're humans. What I said before about checking your ideals. But you can also be too reckless. And this is where I find people go in the other direction. So they're not like wiping people off the slate and excluding them on a whim and being too ruthless. They might be being too reckless. And by that I mean they're not listening to the inner voice that is telling them, is this really what you want? They're not seeing the flags, the real flags, because they really want to believe. They might be really attracted to this person, and they are going to overlook all of the things that they are doing that are dead set flags. Or their intuition. I find this particularly with women. Women do have, and I'm not saying men don't have intuition. Men do have intuition too. But women, they will choose a man and there won't be everything that they possibly could have wanted, but they'll hope that this guy changes. And so they'll overlook things that they might otherwise be advised to pay attention to. And so they're reckless in the sense that they are not being honest or truthful about what's actually not ideal about this guy. And that could be really basic compatibility. And so this is where we've got to be honest with ourselves. In both of these, by being too ruthless, we're not being honest about the reality or the actuality of the person or the potentiality with them. We're being too reckless by overlooking the flags and ignoring our intuition. We could be heading into a relationship or a situationship which isn't good for us. And so where do you find the balance? You find the balance by, before you set out on your dating journey, working out who you want to date. And obviously this is an ongoing process. I'm not saying do all your work and then date. You often find out who you do and don't want to date by dating. So if you've decided that you want a person who within the relationship is got the similar love languages to you, you like physical touch and words of affirmation. And that's really important to you because you didn't get enough of your esteem needs met as a child or much TLC from your parents. So there's an unmet need that's going to flow out into that relationship, and that's not right or wrong. It's important to you. If you pair up with someone who is very clear that they are not into PDA, public displays of affection, that they've got a kind of a bit of a touch phobia, they're not very tactile, and they're not a big talker. They don't like giving people compliments. They feel it's sort of simping out or something. They don't like to kowtow. They like to do it in a different way by doing things for you or being there, quality time. Then you are going to run into problems down the track. There is going to, that difference between you will get bigger, I can assure you. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit like and subscribe, and good luck out there online dating, and may the force of love be with you.